What's up guys, Boss here, and in today's video we're going to be doing something completely different. So you guys probably saw the title and are completely confused what in the world I'm talking about. So I decided today's video is going to be kind of like a news video, and you don't think of me as like a news channel in any way, since mostly I'm uploading gameplay or analyzing other players' gameplay, but I decided to switch it up, and you guys can let me know if you want this kind of content in the future. So what I'm going to be discussing is essentially what's happening right now inside of the game, where Chinese players are no longer, for the most part, going to be playing against the rest of the world. And you might be thinking, why do I care? Why does this affect me? Well, it could actually indirectly affect being able to break your personal best now. It could be harder now, and that might grab your attention, and I'll explain what that means further in the video. So you guys can see here, March 16th, Clash Royale decided to have a maintenance break. A lot of people thought this was pretty insignificant and nothing really happened, but it turns out if you're following along on Twitter and Reddit, you might have seen some information about this, and I'll be going over that in a little while. But it just basically says, we had a maintenance break for, system optimization to improve our backend for Clash Royale, blah, 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 whatever that means. We're sorry for any inconvenience. But as you guys can see, if you go to the leaderboard and you go to some of the Chinese accounts, what you'll actually find, let's start with LC here. You can see he finished 35th in the world last season. Click on his account and it's blank when you click on it, as opposed to when you click on like any other account nearby. Their accounts, just look normal. Scroll down a little further and it's going to look the same for Hire, who is also, a Chinese player. And then a little further, you get to this guy as well, just to, show you guys three different people. But let me show you some tweets about it. One was actually from Hire, one of the people who this happened to, and it'll help you guys understand the current situation. We got over to here. This is the first, I guess, post I want to show you guys that kind of shows you what's going on, and it'll give you a good summary of what's happening besides what I already said about the Chinese players switching servers and essentially being unable to play against any other region. So as you can see, this is a Chinese clan. You can see only 7 members in it. I guess these accounts, maybe they speak Chinese, but they're not actually from China. But all these accounts left the clan. They basically, essentially what you saw, the profiles earlier being blank, these were removed from the regular global server and were moved to a Chinese server. And if you read this below, it's talking about, the government wanting that, not Supercell, and, saying, I'm so sad. And some more questions here, asking like only Supercell ID now. And the thing is, though, is if you show more replies, you can see it's restricted in China, which basically is saying, they have their own server now. And the main reason for this, and this touches up on it right here, and I kind of already knew this based off of what people were saying earlier, but they're trying to limit, them talking to other regions through the clan chat, which might seem a little silly, but that's, the Chinese government, what their rule is right now. So that is, I think, the main cause of why this is happening. You can see some more reactions going on here. Another Chinese clan, and you can see all these people leaving the clan because they're unable to be in the clan anymore with other countries in it, which is very, very interesting. And this is actually kind of cool. So the Chinese server is actually slightly different. You can see you're able to copy and paste decks in the global tournament and in grand challenges. You can see from the screenshot here, and the replies are pretty funny. You can see someone tagging Drone Punching the Air right now, because this guy basically has been the past 100 days or so begging Clash Royale to add a copy feature in grand challenges in global tournaments. And sure enough, in the new Chinese server, somehow they have it. I guess in their really long 14-hour maintenance break, for them it was 14 hours, for us only 2 hours, they ended up getting some cool new features. And here's another picture you can see right here. Someone else from China, you can see, says, good job, Supercell, obviously being sarcastic. Look at this. The Valkyrie looks different. The icon for her, I have no idea why. You can see in the next photo, he's 95th in the world, being 6,693 trophies. And this is getting to the point where I was talking about why, and this next screenshot's going to show you why this is going to indirectly affect everyone, not just players who live in China. Because now that there's less players in the game, think about it, there's a lot of people from China who play this game, and you match some of those people, and that is part of what makes the overall trophies what they are. So now you're going to have a harder time breaking your personal best, most likely, if you're unable to play against any of these players from China. And this is what you see right here. They have their own separate leaderboard, which is very, very interesting. It's separate from the global leaderboard. There's already people at 7,600 plus right now, which is, you know, over 150 more than what Solomon has right now. So basically, their whole leaderboard is different now. It's very weird. And look, another icon different, the poison. So they got a whole nother different like server going on here with different things, you know, different rules. It could also be because obviously Supercell is owned by Tencent, so maybe they're implementing their own, you know, designs and things that they want different than the global server, which is really, really interesting to think about. So the next post I want to show you guys is from Royal API News. I don't know. Okay, you should be able. Well, actually, I don't know if you guys would be able to see this. The face cam may be in the way, but basically what it is, it's talking about there's going to be longer match time. Now queue times implying that there's region-specific matchmaking. So this, again, indirectly affects you guys, especially those of you who are higher up on ladder or global tournaments. You might have experience a longer queue time finding a match, which could be kind of frustrating and annoying. I doubt it's going to be anything significant, but you can bet it's going to have an effect on if there's any chance anymore of people reaching 9,000 trophies. That's probably not going to happen anytime soon now, and even breaking your personal best is just going to be much harder than what it was before, when you have like 5 or 10% maybe of the player pool that you're unable to match now that you were able to before. And this is another reply I ended up liking here. This guy explained it, translated it, and as you can see, for them, as I mentioned before, the maintenance break ended up taking 14 hours for them. And you won't be playing against Chinese players in the future unless they have a Supercell ID account, which is unlikely because in China, the Supercell ID is banned for most people. So unless they find a way to get around it, which is not going to be many people, and yeah, separated from the international server, as I said a couple times already. And there's just a couple more I want to show you guys. This is higher. This is actually one of the Chinese pros. You can actually, I'll pull up his Twitter right now for you guys. It says, I'm higher of WEDGM, team in China division. Very, very good player. One of the best competitive players in the game right now. And he is obviously not very happy right now. You can tell from his tweet. He's like, sorry guys, my account has been assigned to a separate server, which means I need to prepare to play a new account on the New World server. And the brothers or the people who had me on my friends list can delete the previous account. And I actually was on his list and I deleted it because when you click on his profile, it's just blank, not on the server anymore. And yeah, he's just, you know, pretty upset. And there's one other, I'll show you one other pro, Solomon, in a second. And yeah, this is it right here. Solomon's tweet, my account is separated from Supercell. I want to go back to Supercell. Who can help me? You can see he's really upset. He wants to go back to the normal leaderboard. Like you can see right here, he's first in the world currently. But he probably feels like he doesn't deserve to be first because it's not including the other regions. I mean, look at this. There's very little competition. You can see the huge difference between first and second place. I mean, over 100 trophies, which is pretty insane. And yeah, it's just, it's kind of crazy, especially for them. It's going to take a lot of getting used to. And you can see Drexen's reply here, popular streamer, sad face, says, we're going to miss you and all the Chinese people. And yeah, I guess I'll leave it at this. This is the last tweet or thing I'll actually show in the video. I just want to end this with my thoughts on the whole situation. Obviously, this whole thing is new, and I think people don't realize it's actually a bigger deal than it actually is, because as far as I know, these Chinese players won't be able to play competitive either until further notice against a lot of the other regions. So that is going to affect competitive Clash Royale, not just ladder and global tournaments. But here's what you guys were waiting to hear, and I already touched up on this a little bit. This is going to definitely indirectly affect ladder overall. I mean, you know, trophy inflation, how we've talked about before, this is going to be the opposite of trophy inflation. It's very likely at the end of seasons now, we're going to see players finishing on the 28-day seasons or the 35-day seasons with less trophies. So you see Mohamed Light here finish number 1 with 8,640 trophies, and it's very likely now that the next time there's a 28-day season, it's going to be less than that, maybe by 100 trophies or even a couple hundred. And what this means for you casual players who are trying to break your personal best, think of all the Chinese players you play against. Of course, it's not very often, but think about it. Just sometimes you'll definitely match against a Chinese player, maybe 5-10% of the games you play. I don't know. It, of course, depends on the time you play in your time zone as well, of course. But with all that in mind, just overall, it's going to be interesting to see how it ends up affecting latter global tournaments. Maybe now people will need maybe 1 or 2 less wins to win global tournaments overall, and search times could be slightly longer. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know that's basically what's going on right now. So if you're wondering why it's harder to maybe break your personal best, or if you're struggling to, I don't know, like climb up, or you just notice a very small difference, that could be the reason why. So I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comments. Personally, the last thing I'll say is I feel really bad for a lot of these Chinese players, because it's pretty clear that they're very, very upset. I mean, this is obviously very, very bad for them. Even if they find a way around it, they still have to create a new account that has Supercell ID, so essentially starting over if they want to have any chance of, being on the global server with all the countries in it. And obviously not Supercell's fault. It's something that China wanted to do. It was their decision, and Supercell essentially just had to follow it, or else they could have, I don't know, gotten in trouble or whatever the case is. So yeah, let me know if you guys thought this video was interesting. I kind of like talking about these topics inside of, Clash Royale. And if you guys like this type of news style video, I'll do something like this again. If there's anything I can improve on, or, anything like that, definitely let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's going to be it. Make sure to like if you guys did end up enjoying it. Subscribe if you guys aren't subscribed already. And thanks again. Until next time, guys.